Hello everybody, Nerd in Texoma, back here again for another video. Again, I apologize. Last week here in the United States, it was Thanksgiving, and I had a 4-day weekend, and I just totally lost it and didn't make a video, so I apologize, folks. If you're from the States, hope you got enough to eat. If you're worldwide, hope you had a good week. I'm not sure what holidays are being celebrated right now. I know there's a ton, packed within this 2 to 4 month time span from, say, October to the end of January. There's numerous different holidays, festivals, celebrations going on, so enjoy them. Hope y'all have a good one. Alright, today for the video, I'm going to be talking about a knockoff figure that I got a while back because I wanted it. Duh. I mean, why would you buy something that you don't want? And second, boy, the original is very expensive. Now this is one of those kind of oddball, quirky ones, in my opinion. Not necessarily the KO, the actual figure itself. Back in, the early to mid 80s, the Transformers line was coming out, and most of the figures came from the Microchange, Microman, Diaclone lines put out by Takara over in Japan. However, for Transformers, Hasbro did license out some other transforming figures from other companies like Bandai. So we have the oddball figures like Whirl, the blue helicopter. We have oddball figures like, I believe, not sure that he was licensed from Bandai, but Shockwave. He was also one of those other outwardly sourced figures. We have Jetfire, or Skyfire as he's known in the animated series. He was licensed, I believe he was also a Bandai figure, but the thing is, his toy was from a competing animated series, animated toy line. Hang on just a second, I see this, it's kind of bugging me here, so let me try to straighten that out. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. But yeah, Jetfire / Skyfire is one of those figures that is really cool, but the figure looks nothing like his cartoon or comic book appearance until the release of the Siege version. I think that was about 4 years ago-ish. Now, there have been some third-party manufacturers that have made a Skyfire, Jetfire, cartoon-accurate I don't know if it's exactly cartoon accurate, but it's closer than this one. Now, third parties are companies that copy the look of a transformer. Sometimes they make a different version of it. They're not officially licensed by Hasbro or Takara, so they have to call it like different names and weird stuff like that, so they don't get sued. Oftentimes they still do get sued. But yeah, they're not official Transformers, and they're pretty expensive usually because, you know, they don't have the backing of a multinational company or conglomerate, you know, to produce 10,000 of these things very cheaply, or the marketing budget for that. You know, they're making small batches of 100 or 1,000 or, you know, however many at a time, so they don't have the ability to lower cost because they're not producing in bulk. But sometimes third parties are much cooler than the officials. Just say that. Alright, well, a knockoff is, you know, of course, basically a direct copy with very minor changes of the original figure. And that's what I have today, is a knockoff Valkyrie or Jetfire from G1. Now, the reason I say Valkyrie is because this actual toy, this figure, or this design, not this specific one, is from Robotech or Macross. This was licensed to be Jetfire for the G1 Transformers. Now, he's a very cool looking jet. This one is in Jetfire colors, although the paint job is obviously different. He has none of the Autobot decals or anything like that, because this is, I think it's really marketed towards both collectors. If you want a Robotech figure on the cheap, or if you want a Transformers Jetfire figure on the cheap, here you go. I mean, he's a pretty cool jet. Wings are movable. It does have ratchets in there. I don't know if you can hear that, but it does click in. Now, this one costs about $20 to $30 on AliExpress when I bought it. Like I said, it was a couple months ago, so they may have sales, they may not. I believe the brand of knockoff is the X-Bots. Now, this figure on this knockoff, how you see him is how you get him. The only other thing that he comes with is his blaster. The original Transformers Jetfire came with all these add-on armor bits. This doesn't, from what I understand. If you have reproductions, or if you have the original armor bits for Jetfire, most of them will fit on this figure. From what I understand, the arms have been remolded slightly, so the armor won't fit exactly on here. But yes, there's his jet mode. He can do what they call the Gerwalk, or I may or may not be pronouncing that correctly, where he is like a mid-transformation mode. Never quite understood the whole aspect of this mode and why it was a thing, but you know, apparently it is. I guess It's extra mobility because he's still partly jet mode. So he has the extra boosters or something for more speed than being in just full-on robot mode. To me, it always looked kind of goofy for that because you've got a plane with legs and arms. But that's a thing from the Robotech or Macross. This never showed up in Transformers like this. But go ahead and pop him into his robot mode. Like all G1s or older Transformers, transforming figures, he's not that complex to transform. Because you've got to understand, most of these figures like this were designed in the mid to late 70s. And back then they just didn't have all of the technology or know-how to create all the ball joints and the modern articulation that we enjoy today. So the transformations are fairly easy to figure out. Again, since this is a knockoff, they can't put the Macross or Transformer branding, so he's a GS11, some sort of star logo there on his shoulder. Something like that. I don't know. The paint job on him is pretty cool. I don't see that there's any like real overspray or anything like that. That's usually fairly common with knockoffs. The only issue that mine has is that sometimes this backpack just doesn't want to peg in properly, so his arms get a little floppy. There we go. Because the arms are connected to this part, so this might flop up, and then his arms will kind of lean forward. It's kind of weird, but it's not that big a thing. This is the same size, obviously, as the original Jetfire or Robotech or Macross figure, since many parts are interchangeable. Now, however, this one does not have any die cast on it, so it's just all total plastic. But, I mean, it's a pretty good plastic. Joints hold up pretty well, except for that one. And like I say, aside from that one clip on his back there that's a little funky, sometimes you have to finesse. I mean, aside from that and his back, he's a pretty solid figure. He's I'd say a good stand-in for an original Jetfire if you don't have one in your collection. If you just want a second one to build like a little Jetfire army, if you want to take this and customize it, you know, battle damage it. I've seen a lot of people take old original Jetfires that are damaged and repaint him into a Decepticon. You know, there's a lot of possibilities you can do with this figure. Personally, I might just throw on a few Autobot logos on him and call it a day because I like it as is. I have not tried to interchange parts between this one and an official Jetfire because I don't have one. So I'm not sure if, you know, necessarily you can, like, say, replace an original Jetfire arm with the knockoff arm if you had an original that was missing an arm or missing a leg or something like that. It's possible. I'm not sure. But I think he's a pretty neat figure. I think if you're a Transformer collector, this would be a good addition to your collection if you're looking for a G1 Jetfire figure and don't have a lot to spend. If you're a Robotech or Macross fan, again, it's the same thing. Again, there's numerous different paint variations in Macross and Robotech, so you could probably easily repaint this and turn it into any of those different versions in the Robotech and Macross series. Have you a army of these guys for relatively inexpensive, 20 or 30 bucks can add up kind of quick, but it's a lot cheaper than like 100 and up that the original figure will cost you. So I'm going to include some pictures I found on the internet of the box that this guy will come in, the X-Bots box, and I found a picture of this guy standing next to an original G1 Jetfire with the armor bits on the Jetfire, just so you can see that they are the exact same figure. Like I say, just this guy does not come with the extra armor bits. Alright guys, hope y'all have a good one. Be good, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.